Last year at about this time, Valve had some secret testing branches hooked up onto Half-Life 1 that were caught by SteamDB. These test branches were separate builds of the game used to test new features set to be added in the game pre-release. Well, in November of 2023, it became clear that all of this work was for a special 25th anniversary major content drop for Half-Life 1. Not only did we get a completely revamped front end and engine of the game, we also had new content and obscure content officially added within the build. The 25th anniversary of Half-Life was also celebrated by the release of a small amount of official cut content and a full-length documentary created by the people behind NoClip. The 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2 is coming up, and people have been asking me if Valve was going to be doing something for it. Of course, I don't know for sure. That's not how this works. But only a couple of days ago did Valve open up a brand new testing branch for Half-Life 2. I purposely waited until after Thursday to be able to check if this was something worth reporting on. 9 times out of 10, they're going to launch something on a Thursday. Thursday is Steam's lowest traffic day. Thursday came and went, and so it remains to be seen exactly what kind of chicanery Valve is up to for the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2. It does, however, look like that we are going to be getting some sort of celebration from Valve Software. Now, it needs to be stated that with the recent news of the next Half-Life game, many people have started to speculate that the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2 may be the day that Valve starts teasing the future of the franchise. And while I do admit that remains possible, Valve very rarely is capable of adhering to even internal deadlines. Even though HLX is quite far along in development, 4 years at least, it isn't far enough along to be able to say, well, it's coming out very soon, like before the end of the year or the first half of 2025. We're not that far in development. And then it gets weirder. After the first video came out, quite a few reaction channels were reacting to the video that we put out, and one reaction in particular done by Pyro stood out to me. Pyro specifically said, unsubstantiatedly, that they knew about Deadlock 4 years ago, and they knew that Valve currently had in development 2 different games outside of things like Counter-Strike and Deadlock. Obviously, Pyro isn't a source. I'm not taking Pyro's word at face value and reporting it to you. However, this was said a little under 2 weeks ago, and I did start asking around, and I did learn a few things. The Deckard, Valve's next flagship VR headset, is still very much in production, and they still intend on shipping this piece of hardware. HLX, as we know it, is not a VR game. That has become even clearer following the release of the last video. A game being in development to best showcase the features of the Decker, in the same way that Half-Life Alyx best showcased the features of the Valve Index, is very much going to happen if the Deckard is set to still be released. If Pyro is telling the truth, or if who told Pyro was telling the truth, they are more than likely referring to a VR game to go along with the Deckard. About a year before Half-Life Alyx was announced, rumors were circulating about an asymmetric multiplayer game taking place in the Half-Life universe where one player was in VR and one player was on the computer. The computer player would always be Gordon Freeman. If you're playing Half-Life on the computer, that would be Gordon Freeman. The VR player would always be Alex Vance. And so this idea was that these 2 games would somehow interact with each other. The VR player playing Alex's story, the PC player playing Gordon's story, and those having some cooperative elements between them. This is just a rumor, but it is a rumor that has been around for years. Valve making 2 games, one VR and one not, is possible, especially considering that the Deckard is very much still in development and is very much still intended to be released. The Half-Life Alyx team is deep in Half-Life development right now. Across the board, Gabe Newell himself said, shortly after the launch of Half-Life Alyx, that the enthusiasm and efficiency of this team was at an all-time high, even after the game had shipped. And although we hadn't seen exactly what the fruits of that labor even are today, it is abundantly clear that this team is still working very hard with very high enthusiasm. The tools themselves are baked for Half-Life. Assets are specifically being labeled with this alien head for anything related to Zen. The build breakmaster, the thing that checks if the build works, is Gordon Freeman with the crowbar. The bug reporter, the thing that allows external playtesters to alert Valve to bugs, is now publicly known due to a leak in the latest Dota 2 update to include HLX as one of the modes within the external bug reporting system. The longer we wait, the more information becomes known, and it is very clear that the Half-Life franchise is heavily in development right now. I have also spent the better part of the last 3 weeks digging through every piece of code that Valve has shipped in the calendar year of 2024, and I am nowhere near done. When that video shipped, I intended on being able to wrap up this entire data mining project in 2 weeks, because I am dumb. If I were to just wait until I am completely finished, the big video would not be done until October or November. There is so much, and I am losing my mind. So, we're splitting it up into parts. Every 2 weeks, I intend on shipping a video that shows everything that I have been able to find up until that point. Not only that, and I'll leave you with this last bit of information, and this is why the video took so long, the Puppet Master Major Content Update for Dota 2 alongside the International 2024 Content Update for Dota 2 shipped yesterday. And when you get a big update like that, it means there are engine changes that need to be dug through, because Valve reportedly uses the same code base across all projects. It just shares that base in different branches and different modes depending on the codename of that project. So sure, Dota 2 is not directly using the entire codebase of HLX, but it definitely shares quite a few pieces, and so when Dota 2 gets a big update, HLX is going to creep through. And as it seems, Valve has responded to the video that I shipped by removing and renaming pretty much everything that I had directly reported on. The Zen Gorilla has been removed completely. Hound Eyes and the HEV suits have been renamed to NPC Monster and Burbank suits. I do not anticipate HLX or Half-Life 3 to be announced within the calendar year of 2024, so I do have some time to finish this up. I do intend on shipping a video every 2 to 3 weeks that reports on everything that I have been able to find in this massive project. So get subscribed, because instead of it being a really long video that's going to take me half my life to finish, I'm gonna piecemeal it, but oh man, I'm losing my mind, guys, so I gotta split this up. Thank you so much for being patient with me. The response to the last video has been incredible, and I will not let you down with the remainder of this reporting, but it's a lot of work, and I don't want to make a crap video. My Discord is where I discuss this stuff as it's being found. The invite link to the Discord server, it's just called Tyler McVicker, is down in the description below. I'm sure Sponsor Block just flagged that whole section, but if you want to see the videos early or get your name in the credits, check out my Patreon and Floatplane. I'm Tyler McVicker, the Passionate Gamer. Hopefully I get to make a video that isn't Half-Life related next so that I can give my brain a rest. I cannot stress this enough. This is the busiest I have ever been, and this is the largest amount of software to come through I have ever had in the 13 years that I have been Valve News Network or Tyler McVicker. They're pumping. They're pumping. Valve be pumping. Comment Valve be pumping. I'm the Passionate Gamer. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you so much for dealing with me. Adios.